In episode 42, I discussed the one thing I like about my job, whether you should put up a Facebook page or not, and where in Africa should you go to photograph golden light. Episode 42 starts now. Hi guys, my name is Gerry, I'm from Wild Eye. This is episode number 42 of the Wildlife Photography Q&A video series in which I answer your questions. Right, so this I think is about the third or the fourth video this week. It's going very nicely, thank you. So keep on sending those questions in. I'm going to try, we've got a long weekend coming up in South Africa. Monday is a public holiday, so I'm going to try and record on Monday or Tuesday again and get one out at least, minimum, during next week. So keep sending them through. What's news today? Quiet in the office. From a people point of view, Andrew and John are not in today. They're all over the place running around. Marlon's busy with a private tutorial next door. Billy's sitting right behind the camera over there. Hey, Billy. There we go. So, yeah, getting some work done, ending off the week. It's been a fantastically productive week. But let's get into some questions. I think I just grabbed a few now. There's five or so coming up for today. And then I've got 3 or 4 lined up for next week. But send them in. I like to try and mix it up. So it's not always just what settings should I have, what settings should I have. We try and mix it up a bit. So anything you have, send them through. But for now, let's get into episode number 42.
Ruben asked on email, this is specific to the D810. How much can you push your ISO before you notice noise in the dark shadows? Have you done any experiments?
Ruben, thank you. I've got all your other questions as well. I'll mix them up into future episodes. But discussing the low noise, high ISO situation, yes, the D810 is phenomenal in low light. Now, it's a very difficult question to say that how does it relate? Because here's the thing. If we do studio tests, if you take this camera and you punch that ISO up to 6,400 or 12,800, whatever it is, if you do studio tests where you can control the lighting, the amount of darks, lights, highlights in the scene, then you could start kind of quantifying the reality of what that high ISO really means. In the real world, for wildlife photography, I would rather overshoot my ISO, and I shoot a D810 as well at times. I would rather overshoot it a bit, and because remember this, and a lot of people don't get this concept. If you shoot a very high ISO, but there are not many pitch dark areas, like this corner here behind me, this dark area, that is where the noise will be evident. It won't show up in lighter areas like my shirt or the board behind me, for example, because noise hides in dark areas. So it's a very difficult question to say that how high can the D810 go before noise shows up? My question to that is, what are you photographing? Are you using a flash? Is there a little bit of highlights in the scene? If, for example, I'm doing, I'm trying to think of a scene here, leopard against a dark background with a beam of light falling on it, there might be noise in the background if you try and lift it up with something like your shadow slider. But overall, the biggest question is you need to shoot your camera where you're comfortable. You need to understand what the high ISO, low noise does, and then just think of how it's going to translate into the real world. Remember also, is if you click that shutter, it's not the end of the process. A lot of people make the mistake, diverting a bit here, off track, it's Friday, is that they think of Lightroom as post-processing. It's part of the digital process, so include it in your thought process. If I'm going to shoot high ISOs, make sure you know how to do it properly in Lightroom. So the D810, phenomenal camera, incredible dynamic range, and very effective at high ISOs. But again, it depends completely on what you're going to put in front of your lens.
Shubham asked on Instagram, what's the most important things in wildlife photography, camera or lenses?
Shubham, the first thing that comes to mind when I hear this question is neither. It's the photographer that makes the difference, and that's the most important thing. But let's dig a bit deeper, is people gear whore. They get so excited whenever a new camera is released, like, oh good God, I have to get the new, I don't know what's new, the 1D2S or the D5 or whatever. If you're going to go down that road, you're going to lose, guaranteed. Because the extra price you're paying for whatever camera body you're upgrading to will most definitely not immediately translate to that same equivalent jump in image quality or composition, whatever. So if I had a choice, I would say to someone, buy the best camera you can with the budget that you have, yeah? And then focus on the glass, focus on the lenses that you put in front. That's where the image quality comes in. If you buy shitty glass, you're gonna get shitty images. Simple as that. Most of today's digital cameras is strong enough and good enough to deal with whatever light things we give them and so on. But if you put crap glass in front, you're gonna have a problem. So I would be happy to upgrade my camera every 3, 4, maybe generations, yeah? But glass I would focus on. But that all said, it doesn't matter. If you do not have it up here as a photographer, you're gonna lose. It's what you think and what you do with the gear that you have, that's gonna make the difference. So, which is most important, the camera or the lens? You're the most important as the photographer.
Michael asked on Facebook, what is the number one thing you enjoy most about your job?
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate that one. Sure. It's not something I really think about all that much because doing what I do, it's not, for me, yeah, that's exactly it. Exactly that. It's not something that I do, it's what I do. It's me. So the job that I do at Wild Eye is God, yeah, it's just me. I love working with people. See, background for me, Michael, was I studied sports psychology way back. I've always had an interest in people and how they operate and stuff. And I think translating that into seeing people learn along the way, because one of my natural skills is teaching. I can teach quite well out in the field. So it's nice for me to take someone through that journey of discovery and at the end of them, see what they can do. A highlight for me way back, and this is, I'm going back to 2012, 2011 here, is I had a private guided trip with 2 ladies up to Madikwe. And we were going to go and shoot stars the one morning. So we got up at 2:30, drove out to Clodam in Madikwe. And as we get close, the one lady says, oh, damn, she forgot her tripod to shoot stars. Okay, that's fine. You can have mine. And so I give her my camera, my tripod, and the stars are it's just all over. It was beautiful, absolutely insanely awesome stars. And I'm thinking, this little voice in the back of my mind saying, oh shit, Gerry, you could have gotten amazing shots in this, but it's not what we do. So we prep her and we talk and we get her up and she shoots this image. And there's that singular moment for me which defines what excites me about what I do is she shot this image for 30 seconds of the stars, and now we're standing both bent over forward looking at her camera screen, and then it buffers for the same time. So it's shot for 30 seconds and then it takes 30 seconds to play back. And as the image on her camera pops, bah, she turns at me and she says, look what I just did. And that moment for me kind of is just why I do what I do. It's giving people the tools and the skills and whatever I can to make their journey successful and fun. So it's an interesting question. I think it's important for all of us in the industry to reassess these things all the time, but that for me was a highlight. That was just absolutely amazing.
Naomi asked on Facebook, best places in Africa for photographing wildlife in golden light.
Naomi, thank you. Yeah, very cool to hook up on Facebook. I love that part of the social. So the best place in Africa to shoot golden light. So now I've got Billy sitting behind the camera saying, Kenya, Kenya, which I agree with. It's amazing. See, here's the thing, is Billy's having a good laugh at this. So it's very difficult to say, go there for golden light or there for golden light, because it doesn't stay the same. It's a dynamic thing. Different seasons brings different types of humidity in the sky, which changes the golden light, either for more or for less. If you go in rainy season, you might get very dramatic clouds, which could make the sky pop. If you're closer to the equator, like in Kenya, the light quality and intensity and color of light is all different. So I think if you were to go down the road of where's the best golden light, I would say, then look at something like Mana Pools. At certain times of year, if there's more dust, it's even more dramatic. So when are you going to travel? Where do you want to go? What species do you want to photograph? And then kind of start breaking it down from there. For me personally, if I had to go on personal, that's kind of objective. If I want to go personal, I think Mana Pools is great. I have had some of the most spectacular golden light images for me in the Masai Mara, but I can tell you why. Is when that light angles on the equator, it's just beautifully flat almost. And with the rolling hills of the Mara, you can position yourself to have a beautiful angle, so you almost extend the duration of that light, and you can easily place things in front of, if you're thinking silhouettes, for example. That's amazing. Ambercellia is a favorite. You guys know this if you've been following me online. I love Ambercellia, and the sunsets there as well. When it pops, it pops. But it's how long is a piece of string, really, because every time of year in every different destination is different. So you need to do your homework. Go on the cusp of rainy season. It's Friday. Go on the cusp of the rainy season so that there's cloud buildup, and that could enhance your golden light. Go when it's towards the end of the winter season, when it's dry. There's going to be more dust. So I think in that question, there's personal preference based on what you want to shoot, but there's also some look at the environmental factors and plan according to that. So where's the best place in Africa to shoot golden light? Africa.
Johnny asked on Facebook, any suggestion on how you set up your Facebook page to share your photography? At what stage of your photography should you do that?
Joni, thank you. I know you and I discussed this a little bit during the Big Cat Strip couple of weeks ago. And I still think that there's this, I must just not go off track here. There's this mentality and what's the word I'm looking for here? There's a thought that new photographers, people who are just starting their journey, they have this feeling and this thought that people who have been doing it longer and who call themselves, here's this word, professional, are better than they are, and they have a right to share their work, and they have a right to have a Facebook page. Screw them. Simple as that. The moment you start your photographic journey, and I tell this to all my clients on courses, workshops, and safaris, start the Facebook page, get your work out there. Start an Instagram account, share your work. Start a little website for yourself. But let me tell you why. The moment you create a platform for yourself to put your work out there in the public domain, look, we all have images that nobody will ever see. We all shoot those crappy ones where it's out of focus and it's just not great and it's just another lion image, and those will sit on your hard drive forever, which is fine. But to create a platform for yourself, and website for me goes down this road, and so is a Facebook page because it's an easy option, is the moment you take your work and you work it down to 2 or 3 images, for example, from a day, and you say, process them to the best of your ability, and you put it out there, then you are ready to grow as a photographer. Because up until that stage, you've never committed to your own craft, where you're putting your stuff out there and saying, this is the best I have right now. If I look back at my work even 2, 5, 6, 10, 12 years ago, some of the stuff's embarrassing, but I needed to take that step and share my work with people in order to take the next step. It's a natural evolution. If you want to be a photographer, put your work out there. Simple as that. Remember, photography is an art, and art should be a gift. It should be something you give to people. It doesn't matter if 2 or 2,000 people like your page or follow what you do. It's the point that you put it out there. It's the same reason I say to people, do photographic competitions. I don't do them. I've got no interest, me personally, I've got no interest in a group of 12 judges telling me my work is good or not. I couldn't care less. But for people growing on their journey, I think it's a fantastic thing to go through the process of creating a Facebook page, Instagram, and putting your work out there. Because as you put your work out there, you're going to learn more about yourself. Guaranteed. It's a wonderful journey. Do it as soon as you can. Any advice on how to? I mean, I can email you a link or something, but Facebook must have, it's a simple process. Log on, create a new page, set up the details, post a banner picture, you're good to go. It's a must, Joni. Do it as soon as you can. And here's the thing, and this is for Joni and a couple of other people that have asked this question. Stop worrying about what other people think of your work. It is the biggest stumbling block that we as photographers have to get over. It's a personal thing because you put your images out there. It's a very personal image that you've taken. You like it, but now we get all hysterical when other people don't like it. Screw them. It's got nothing to do with them. I would rather, and I've said this many times in the past, I would rather have 2 or 3 people really like and comment on an image and say, Gerry, that's great, than to have 5,000 people commenting, wow, 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 wow. It means nothing. The point is, stop worrying about what people think about your work and just put it out there. It is the next step, Joni, and I know for you and for a lot of people watching, put your work out there. It's the best thing you can do as soon as you can. Right, sure, that went quick. Done. So that's 5 questions for a Friday. I've got some lined up, but like I said, guys, send me your questions. I like how some of these things are going deeper. The idea of how do I photograph a leopard in a tree? I get the question, but it's easy. Let's go deeper. I mean, there must be some things that you guys are struggling with. For example, how to get traction on an image online, or going into the field, for example. How many of you prep before you go into, I'm not saying pack your bag, but prep photographically in your mind. Do you look at images? Do you study the area? Do you know where the sun's going to go down All of those kind of things are questions we can discuss, and I'd love to chat to you about them. So that's it for now. I'm going to try and get this out. It's Friday today, long weekend coming up in South Africa, so that's quite exciting. It's been a hell of a month and a hell of a week, so looking forward to that. I'll be online. Instagram, Snapchat is still going strong. I'm going to put it up here again. Here. Follow me on Snapchat, guys. It's a phenomenal platform. And I think that's about it for now. Thank you for following along. And again, thanks for all the comments and feedback, guys. Loving it. Send me your questions and I will keep on answering them for you. My name is Gerry. I'm from Wild Eye. I will see you guys next time.